Yeah, back into it. Hell of a place. Have you been to Queenstown?
No, not yet. It's definitely like on the things to do list for sure.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you must. I didn't realise Australia has a Queenstown as well, which is news to me.
I think we've got a
And I'm
couple.
not. Yeah, I'm not sure it's got a scratch on this one, but you know.
I think your patriarch just went to all these countries and just said, this is my town." Just named it
Yeah.
Queenstown everywhere. Yeah.
Oh man, I was in Tasmania for a few months this winter, and it's so weird biking through all the villages, and like they're all English towns, one after the
Mm.
other. Apart from there's a Baghdad in
Yeah.
Tasmania. Did you know
Yeah. Yeah.
that? like what? There's a Derby. Yeah, lots of weird places. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, good place.
You keen to just kind of keep going and jump straight in, or
Yeah, for sure.
you got any questions or anything?
No, all good. Um is that all good in terms of video and audio for you?
Yeah, it's all fine. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, sick. Cool. That's uncharged. That shouldn't fall off or any fall out. Yeah. No, sweet. No, go for it. All good time.
Yeah, so Ben Hildred, welcome to the podcast. For those who haven't seen you, like, who are you and what do you kind of do? Like, I know it's a broad
Um
question, but
no, cheers, Darren. Thanks for having me. I oh, well, don't do much really, just ride bikes. Probably too much. Um which is my issue. But yeah, I live in Queenstown, ride bikes, do some big bike rides. Some people take note, some people draw inspiration from it, which is quite nice. But otherwise, just yeah, mill about, fix bikes, ride bikes. That's about it, really.
just living the dream.
Not, yeah, gosh, not very. It doesn't sound very eventful when you talk when I say it like that, but that's probably the easiest way to put it.
I,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
all about it.
I'm no expert on accents or anything, but you're clearly not from Queenstown originally.
No, certainly not. No, I've been in Queenstown for like 6 years now, but I was originally from the UK, from the East Midlands, which is like the strip across the middle of England, from the flattest part of the UK as well. So from a county that the biggest hills like 50 meters elevation, I think, something like that. Like, so I think what I'm actually doing now, probably subliminally, is a mate like um, riding more, like making the most of the hills now because I've been, you know, completely, I've been without them, neglected of hills for most of my life. So yeah, now I'm just going hard. But yeah, been in Queenstown for 6 years. It's really good.
What was it? Just the hills that kind of promoted the move, or
Oh no, I've always been into like always been mad on mountain biking, and even in the UK, we used to just like do like a 3.5 hour trip to Wales to ride bikes most of the time, you know. Um, and then before Queenstown, I lived in Whistler for three seasons,
yeah,
which is sick. And then moved here in 2017. So yeah, that's rest is history.
that's
So
wild. You
yeah,
you
yeah.
must be one of the only people that's left Whistler to move to somewhere else. It seems like everyone I know that goes there just comes back for about 3 days and goes straight back because they love it there.
Oh, yeah, that was like that was me with Queenstown actually. So Whistler's great, but the people in New Zealand, and like I was only meant to come to Queenstown for like a season. It was just like the last hurrah of all this silly season nonsense, you know, like
Mm.
get it out of my system. So I did three in Whistler, and then um, I came straight to Queenstown and did one here, and then like man, just the community and the people here, like you can't leave. It's so good. It's so good. Um, but yeah, this is great as well. um, but yeah, no, it's a hell of a place. Hell of a place. Definitely come visit.
And the writing's good, from what I've heard. Like it's top level.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It hasn't got like if you compare it to Whistler, it hasn't got like the density of trails. or the volume of the trail network, but it's like getting there. It's on the up for sure. And like the mountain bike club here is, I think it's the second biggest in the country. It's huge, and they do so much. And you've got input from various people, like Rod's just like really putting into the community, and Coronet's going to be huge, and the bike park's amazing. And then there's all the other stuff. Like last season or the season before, I think me and a few work colleagues, like we only rode trails that weren't on the map like the whole season, like just like
right.
stuff you wouldn't even know about. And it's just that's how much good stuff's here, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So like when you were younger, living in England and riding through the Midlands and stuff, were you starting to look at doing big rides and doing crazy climbs and that type of thing, like all the time, or have you been more into downhill or like?
Oh, I've done everything. I've never really been into big rides until like 4 years ago. Never been particularly fussed. Not fussed. It's just you just go through iterations of bike riding, I guess. So it was always like downhill was like, ironically, downhill was what I wanted to ride whilst I was in the UK, and that's why we went to like uplift days every other weekend, you know, but on the back of trailers or in you know, defenders going up hills, and that was brilliant. And then like road riding as well, BMX, big into BMX for years.
Oh, really?
All sorts. Yeah, loved it all. Like I had a bit like a BMX business whilst I was in the UK, and that's what I eventually gave that up to, sold that on to move to Whistler. But anything with two wheels, man, it's just the best. Did like big road missions in the UK, you know.
Right.
I'd have a friend there, John, and we'd bike down to London, get a sleeper train up to Edinburgh, wake up in Edinburgh, then carry and bike in, and we'd go all over. Like bike to festivals as well, like, you know, a couple 100K to go and see a band. Just it's good. It's so good.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's very different to here, but yeah, no, the big ride thing only really started like probably 2017, 2018.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was. When did you ever think you would end up on YouTube or end up with SRAM or end up doing all these kind of big media projects as well along with those rides?
No. That was an interesting one. No, that's never been the intention. I've never asked anyone for anything, and it's just all just kind of like, and I still like, that's my kind of like my stern. Not going to ask anyone for anything. Just do my thing and see what happens, and it's just kind of like happened organically, I guess. And it's really wonderful that people like that see value in what I like to do on a bike, and that's the really that's the really special thing. And I never really considered that happening, I guess. It all stemmed from writing. I did an Everest like in 2018 with my friend Henry Quinney, who's on Pink Bike at yeah. So me and Henry did an Everest, and then he wrote an article for Pink Bike, and it was really amazing to see the reception from that, like in the comments, you know, I guess, and locally, and it's like, it's really cool. And once you had a bite of that cake, you're like, oh man, like what else could you do? Like that's an Everest, but what else is there to do? Like, and you mull it over for a few months, and then all of a sudden you start thinking about other things, you know, and it's like, gosh, I'd love to write an article about a bike ride myself, and the process and the story and the execution, hopefully. So that's what I did. That, and next year I was like, oh, I wonder if I can bike to the stratosphere in a month. And I thought that'd be interesting, because that's like a certain, I think it's like 1,500 a day. But I was like, oh, that's like whilst working a job full time, it's like I wonder if I can do that and like squeeze it in, and I did, and um, I really enjoyed the process of telling the story. Um, and then yeah, that was rest is history, I guess. I think Sam probably took note there, and then yeah, there we go.
The whole stratosphere thing is just wild. Like, why the stratosphere? Like, where did that come from? Like,
I think I saw like you see those like scale map things, and it's like Everest, like, and then it says like all the layers of the atmosphere, and stuff, and it was just like, oh gosh, like I wonder if you could like pedal to that. And then I remember on a flight, I think it back over here, like you could see how high the plane is on like the TV on your seat. I was like, fuck that. That'd be cool. Like, imagine biking this high. and I was like, oh yeah, but there is the stratosphere. And if you divide that by 30, I'm like, oh wow, you could actually bike higher than this plane. That'd be cool. Like, and I love like tangible kind of things like that. And I was like, wow, that'd be really fun. So yeah, that's why the stratosphere. Just morbid curiosity. And to see if it's possible and what happens. And I think I've accidentally done 3 or 4 stratospheres now, like over month periods.
Yep, just accidentally.
Yeah, like just if you live in Queenstown, you can't help but ride bikes, and it just happens. It's yeah.
So that's 1,500.
But it's all good.
What was that? 1,500 a day for like 30 days or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it's just over. Yeah, and that was like the thing that kind of got me thinking about the millionth feet I did a couple of years later. Like it was a similar amount of elevation a day, but as opposed to 30 days for 200 days in a row. So yeah, that was like I was kind of like going back to the stratosphere and thinking, oh, what could be done. And originally I set out to do like 1 million in a year, like a few people had already, and then I think I just got carried away a bit, and like come July I was like, shit, I could wrap this up in a few days.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, just everything's just like bike rides, big bike rides like that. It's just derived through curiosity and like how far you can take it and what you I don't know. It's like, oh, the Everest is good, like, and you forget about the hard bits. I think like most things in life, when you look back, you kind of forget about the pain, I guess, and like the struggles, and you just remember the good stuff. And yeah, you see. So I look back in the Everest, I'm like, God, that's good. And I remember getting home. I remember having dinner and sat in bed and be like buzzed. I'm like, but it's just I still had some in the tank, so like maybe I could do 2, kind of thing. And that's just like how things escalate, I guess. But yeah.
Was there like, so you're doing 1,500 a day for the first, we'll go with the stratosphere, for example. You do that for 30 days or close.
Yeah.
Is that more mentally taxing because you could have a bad ride the day before or have multiple bad rides in that time? And is it harder to forget them, or are you just generally stoked because you're riding your bike anyway?
Yeah, I think it's just you. Even if you do have a bad day, there's promise of a better day, and it's just like you don't have a bad day on your bike and then don't ride because it's shit. Like you ride for it to get better, I guess. So maybe the bad days are as important as the good days. I remember that December was like particularly wet, like soaking wet, horrendous. And yeah, most of my riding was like before work. Yeah, it's really good fun. Gosh, that's looking back a bit now. That's takes a bit of thinking, that does. but yeah, no, they're good. Yeah.
How's like working in a shop like on the 20th day when you've done like 1,500 a day for 20 days and then you go into work for that 20th day? Like, are you just like
Oh,
over,
uh,
or is it? Yeah.
no, um, that's probably a better question for my bosses, to be honest. But I feel I was more, I was, I feel I was all right. Yeah, like, um, when you do a big ride afterwards, you're not exhausted. You're kind of just
Mm.
buzzing, and like I think I was just fueled by endorphins that month. Like,
Yeah.
um, and then but you do crash. Um, but that's generally what happens with most big rides, I think. Oddly, they don't exhaust you as you'd expect. They give you something else,
Mm.
in a weird way. Yeah,
You're kind of just running off that adrenaline high for the rest of the day, and I don't know, your body's
yeah,
kind of more prepared, all right? Like for some reason, it's prepared for a bigger day
yeah,
now.
yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah. It's a weird one, but it gets like kind of addictive, and like yeah, it's
Mm.
kind of exciting. Um, like certainly, I found that the hardest week was like the last week of the million feet in
Mm.
200 days. Um, that was like middle of July, and it was a really really grim winter, and to do it in I set myself this arbitrary goal of 200 days. Like after a while, I was like, oh, I could do it in 200,
Mm.
which meant that week I had to do like 3,000 meters of elevation for a few days, and then work um, until like two of the nights I worked until 11 p.m. In a ski workshop waxing skis, and then I had to do it all again, and it was just like, oh man, I was a bit of a zombie.
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
that was really tough, but when you got to do it, you just get on with it. But that's part of the challenge. So it's not all just like turning the pedals bit. Um, there's other stuff involved, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously not challenges because they're easy. Like they're supposed to be hard.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah, it's interesting to um like I guess the terminology of like challenges as well. It's like I don't know. It's they feel just more like big bike rides as
Mm.
opposed to but totally, like everyone calls them challenges, and like I referred to previous challenges in the past, but then it's like hmm, a challenge almost feels like a bet, like
Yeah.
or it's like a I I bet you can't do this kind of thing, whereas like everything I've done is just I wonder if I could do this.
Mm.
Um, and so for me, it's kind of weird because especially working yourself up to something as well, like the double Everest last year, is it was never a case of I'm going to challenge myself. I bet I can do this. It was more like I feel this is possible. I wonder if I can do this. And then it just turned into I know this is possible. I can do this, and I'm going to prove it. And
Mm.
it kind of I'm not very good at articulating this, but it takes like the challenge aspect out of it. Like, I didn't finish and go, fuck yeah, I told you I could do it. It's just like I finish and go, wow, I knew that it was possible.
Yeah.
But it's probably just not a word in the English language, or not for my in my head that I can't really describe that kind of challenge as the closest thing,
Mm.
but it's more of like an endeavor, I guess, or something like
Yeah.
that. But that sounds, I don't know, that sounds kind of corny.
No, it makes
Just
sense.
call it bike. Just call it a bike ride. It's just a stupid bike ride. That's it, really. Just a stupid bike ride. But yeah, but no,
Was
they're all good fun as well.
What's it like at the start for the 200, like the million feet? Like when you go on that first bike ride, what were you kind of thinking
Mm,
for that goal is so far ahead? Is it hard to
yeah.
kind of put it into perspective on your first day?
What's interesting is around that time I was biking like big days anyway, so it kind of wasn't out of the ordinary. It wasn't something that uh, I had to kind of like um, get into a new frame of mind and push myself and focus on it. It was just the first few months were just riding like normal on a typical Queenstown summer, and
Yeah.
so I didn't really make a big effort to go hard. It was just it just started to happen. And then after a few months, I was like, oh shit, I'm actually really far ahead for my year target kind of thing.
Mm.
And what I come off the back the year before, I did the Olympus Mons ride, which is like in November, actually. So like only a month before the 1,000,000 feet, I did the Olympus Mons, and so I was still feeling really fit. Like
Yeah.
I'm really charged from that. I had like a few weeks just to recover, which probably wasn't enough. I don't even think I've properly recovered from that. I don't know what recovery is, to be honest. I
I was
should
about
really
to say. Yeah.
learn more about that. But yeah. So it was just kind of normal, and it just progressed. And then it was only started ramping up. Like 200 days is 1st of January to 19th of July, and I only started really ramping up like middle of May.
Yeah. Right.
So, by which time it's cold and miserable here. So, like,
Mm.
you just rode to keep warm and have a good time. So, yeah. And at the time, like, I had loads of friends who were really into it as well, who all had their own missions. Like, so we're all riding together. And like
Mm.
Rob and Joe, I remember, yeah, Rob and Joe in June, I believe it was. They were just like, two of my friends were just like, yeah, like I'm going to go hard as well and do like 30 or 40,000 this month. I'm like, sick. So it's all just riding together, just feeding off each other. So
That's
so,
rad.
but it's testament to the community here, which is just
Mm.
amazing. Like, it's so good. And what really struck me, and it was kind of something I didn't think about really, is Jimmy Ramsey, who's used to be run Skyline here, the bike park. He is saying, before you started doing these silly bike rides, not many people were biking up the bike park. Like that
Mm.
wasn't really a big thing. It was like, but now you do it. Like biking up Skyline is kind of just like a normal thing, and that was really lovely. I was like, oh, well,
Yeah. Yo.
sorry,
That's all right. It's just the usual
is that me?
New Zealand dropout. It's fine.
Oh, fun, isn't it? um, yeah. Well, I'll just go
I
from where I was. Yeah,
Yeah, I heard about riding up
yeah,
Queenstown. Yeah, Skyline.
yeah. So yeah, like Jimmy was like, yeah, before you start doing this, that wasn't really a thing, but now like, lots of people are on the bikes, and biking up to trails is a norm. It's kind of a bit more normalized, I guess, which is kind of, I guess, e-bikes come into that as well. But to think that if seeing what I'm up to is is um, spurred a few people onto pedal is quite a nice thought, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like where I'm at in Adelaide, we've got no chairlifts, we've got no real shuttle services or anything. So everything's pedal up. And then you go to a shuttle service or a place with a chairlift, and it's a game changer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if I connect my data as opposed to. So I think, what do you reckon? Is that going to be all right? Do you reckon?
I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe. I've had it done before.
Hold on. Let's have a look. There now, Darren.
Yeah. Yo.
Sweet. Okay, I'm on my data now. I just realised I've got Annie Ford right on my box thing there as well. Sorry.
It is completely fine.
I don't. I guess you can't really mix this up.
No, it's pretty hard, eh?
Yeah. I think she must have used my Zoom last time, There we
Yeah,
go.
probably.
Anyway,
That's all good.
yeah,
It doesn't show up. It's fine.
that's all right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just saying, like, it's weird that you guys in Queenstown and like the people in Whistler and stuff, like you all
Mm.
have chairlifts, so climbing up is not that normal. Whereas here in like Adelaide, we have two shuttle services that
Yeah.
operate like every weekend, but in between, like we can't. We have to pedal up. It's just such a different
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, totally. And same in the UK, apart from like Wales and a few other places. Like it's different. And do you either do half a bike ride or you do a full bike ride. That's what I say.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and it's much more fun. But biking up, I think you make them you feel like you've earned it, I guess. But not to say that I've had bike passes here in the past, and I might get one this year. Who knows? That's probably not going to happen, actually. No, that won't
yeah.
happen.
I'm actually getting
But,
a small trail bike next because I want to do more riding uphill, which is weird. Never thought I'd say that, but I guess like
nice.
you can absorb more when you're climbing of
Yeah.
the surroundings and what's going on, which
Oh man,
is so nice.
totally. Like, yeah, there's I think I feel that like depend on what you do on a bike, you can get anything you want from riding a bike.
Mm,
You can get the buzz of doing downhill, like the adrenaline rush, the stoke, with riding with friends. You can ride on your own and like you say, take in the surroundings, have a proper think.
mm,
It's like a meditative state sometimes, pedaling uphill, especially on your own. And like, yeah, but if you go on a bike ride where you pedal up the hill to the downhill track, then ride down your mates, you get everything. There's
mm,
nothing you can't get out of a bike ride like that,
exactly.
which is brilliant. And it's like, and so it's no, you no longer, you know, resent the bike ride, the climb up because the climb up's like your time.
Mm,
It's like your space, and you get to the top and you're feeling good, and you're like, whoa, that's great. Where are my friends? Let's go. And like, they jump off
yeah,
this chairlift, and yeah. So
yeah,
have you had a look at bikes?
yeah.
I know.
I'm getting a Fuel EX, like the
Oh
little
yeah,
140 mil. It's not like a
yeah,
little trail bike, but
yeah.
compared
Still,
to the
that's
big 170 mil things I'm used to, like yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know for sure. No, I'm mad for the short travel.
Mm.
Yeah.
Are you?
Have you considered a tall boy?
Uh, no, no, not at all.
Oh, check them out.
I think we both did our sponsor plugs then. It was sick. No,
Yeah. That I love little bikes.
the hardest,
um,
the hardest thing like these days with buying a bike is deciding between amazing and fantastic.
mm,
Like that, they're all good.
oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, like they're so good. Like that little tall boy I did a double Everest on, 120 on the back, 140 on the front, and you ride everything here, everything. And
Mm,
it's like it's a bit skitty sometimes, but holy shit, it's fun. It's so much fun, and like it just never really feels like you know you you're kind of on the level, but you're never out your depth. And
yeah.
they're just like it's that like like a little bike like that is the equivalent to like a long travel trail bike, I think, of like 10 years ago in terms of
Mm,
like the geometry and like the capability. And it's just, so much fun. So much fun. It's funny, I was nerding about um, online, and I found like pictures of all of my old bikes. And yeah, wow, they've come on a long way.
you see some of like I was doing the same thing and I saw my old like giant rain from way back with 26-inch wheels and it looks steeper and more like agile than an XE bike does these days. Like
Mm,
it just looks so kooky. It's 150 mils on an XE bike geometry. Yeah.
it's mad. Yeah. Yeah. But didn't like the Sunday, the Iron Horse Sunday have like a 65-degree head angle?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And like you wouldn't even get that on like on a 140, 120 mile trail bike anymore. Like
No, no. It's
and
yeah.
that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's crazy to think.
Hmm. Makes you wonder where it's going.
Grim Donut for sure. It's got
Do you
to
reckon?
happen.
God, imagine. Well, I think the trails are changing as well to accommodate these bikes.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting. Yeah, you can tell. I feel you find that more in Whistler when you go to like all the old, like no flow zones, and
Yeah.
like river runs through it and cut your bars. Cut your bars of this trail where it's like, yeah, probably like 600 mil wide in certain places. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, love all that geeky stuff.
It's, yeah, like I'll go ride trails that I used to and find real easy, and you get like on a newer bike and then the trails somehow harder, but your heart hasn't changed. And it's just because the bike is so big compared to what it used to be. Like turning that hairpin, or it just requires so much more effort and technique than
Yeah,
it did before.
yeah,
It's
and
kind
like
of
yeah,
confusing.
and like trying to learn and get your endo pivots down now it's just like a normal thing. You got to do
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Well, an
And it's
endo's
like,
like the pivot points on an endo now are so long, like all the fulcrums and stuff. It's just,
yeah, that's my excuse.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I can't manual. The bikes are too long. You know, the wind is going northeast instead of northwest, and it's just, yeah.
Dear. No, that's it.
So I'm actually keen to hear about your bike setup a little bit, but you said you're on the tall boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the double Everest, I'm really fortunate. I've got a couple of mountain bikes. I've got like a mega tower
Mm-hmm.
and a tall boy. But for the tall boy for the double Everest, yeah, that's pretty much like, yeah. Sorry, I had the SRAM T-type drivetrain on that actually.
Yeah.
I got that in late December and was running that for the ride. So that's probably the most um, significant difference or interesting part was that, and
Mm.
then it was just an XL tall boy, which I'm like 194 centimeters or
Yeah.
193,
Wow.
something
Yeah.
like that. And I find the XL is like absolutely perfect, like 495 reach. It's just, I think it's like the sweet spot for sure. So yeah, just XL tall boy, Pikes, Super Deluxe Ultimate. The piggyback just fits in there on that small frame.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like what else? Recon's front and rear, like some nice lightweight tires, but with a good bit of sidewall.
Very underrated tire.
Oh my gosh, I love Recons. Yeah,
Yeah. They're an
yeah,
amazing tire.
they're brilliant. They remind me of Maxxis did like a Lopes Bling Bling tire years
Yes.
ago.
Yep. Yep.
You know those?
Yep.
Oh man, and they remind me of that for some reason.
Mm.
Or like the Minion Semi Slick, but like they're
Yeah.
yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so those front and rear, and one thing I do run is flat pedals, which a lot of people are surprised about, but I really enjoy flat pedals. That's all I've ridden really, apart from the
Yeah.
gravel bike. Like, yeah, just
Yeah.
comfortable, nice, fun.
Well, the shoe
Yeah.
technology is so good as well these days. Like, it doesn't make much difference, really.
Oh yeah, that's it. Totally, totally. Like, it really doesn't, and it's just I just find it comfortable. I like the idea of just being able to just jump on your bike and go with as minimal effort to get ready for a bike ride as possible. You know, I feel that's
Yeah.
just such a faff. Like the best times, the best um, bike rides is just when you just jump. You know, you can just jump on and go, and like and just chuck your helmet on, probably some knee pads, and that you don't have to faff around with different shoes and all that. You know, you can just like walk to the bar straight after the bike ride,
Yeah.
and you're quite happy. You know,
Yeah.
so
You don't have to put on your clown suit, your tip tap shoes, and
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah, and like, yeah, I even wore probably not very good, but I even wore like one of the Rafa cotton t-shirts for that ride as well. Just a cotton t-shirt, flat pedals.
Yeah.
I just think it's just comfortable. It's just not,
Mm.
you know. So yeah. But in terms of bike spec and setup, it's all kind of relatively standard stuff, just all
Yeah.
really, really good stuff. Some 38mm wise bars on there, just to increase the stack.
Yeah.
Away she goes. So,
What's your seat height out of interest? Because I was watching the video this
oh,
morning. I was just wondering, because that looks tall, but then I don't know what the frame's like.
It's big. I don't know what the actual measurement is, but there's like an XL frame, 200mm reverb, and probably about 120mm, maybe more.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Underneath. So it's a big. I've got a real. I'm all legs as well.
Yeah.
So, it's high, but it's what's interesting is a lot of people like call me up on my seat height online, and like as if it's like an optional thing, like I don't know. It's quite funny.
It makes that makes sense though, because I was wondering. I didn't know that reach was 495, which sounds real short for a 194 to 97 ish tall human. But then if your seat height's so jacked up, then proportionally it all makes sense to my head now.
Yeah. I think on the Santa Cruz sizing chart, I'm in between a double XL and an XL.
Yeah.
Or like would probably better be on a double XL, but like I've done like the big reach things and like had like 510, 515s, and I think what Santa Cruz has done with that XL is just perfect. Like 490, 495. That's all you need for your endo turns,
It's funny because that's my exact like favorite reach number as well, and I'm 187, but I have shorter legs, so
oh man,
I have ridden like 515s and stuff, and I do appreciate the room, but sometimes you just get into a corner and you're like, my back wheel still feels like it's at the start line. Like,
yeah.
So bad.
Oh dear. No, it's an interesting one. But if it works for both of us, then great. Like, there's no wrong answer, I guess.
I don't have to ride other people's bikes. I don't really like to comment on them too much, but
yeah. Well, but I think there's so many different riding styles and different ways you can ride. Like, and we're so fortunate now to have such a varied, huge aspect of sizing that I don't think you ever really had. Like, you remember when bikes used to come with just like a 18-inch seat tube or a 20-inch seat tube, and that was like that's all you went by.
Frame size was like 10mm shorter stem. It was the frame was 5mm different.
From 100 to 90mm stem, like that, and that, you know what I mean. That was it really. So, it's an interesting one, but it's like, it's so nice to have bikes that have a range of proportionately sized bikes to choose from, and like for taller riders, and like I guess for everyone really to have that option. But I guess options create confusion a lot of the time as well.
They do
sometimes. Everyone wants a bigger bike.
Yes, and slacker bike, and
yeah.
It's stopping now though. I've noticed that it seems to have slowed down from the marketing side of things. So
I would say that like downsizing is a new upsizing.
Yeah,
that's the thing. People want like more nimble jibby style bikes.
Yeah,
as opposed to jibbing. That's funny how that's a thing again.
I know. Like, but it's been done forever.
Oh yeah, there was like a DVD called Jib.
Yes.
It was like turn of the noughties, I think. It was like I remember it's just like loads of guys in Canada, I think mainly like Vancouver and stuff, just on downhill bikes, just doing stair sets and in bike parks on like hardtails.
It was so good. Yeah.
And it's like and that was jibbing, and then it kind of just like, I guess Kurt Voyes has always been a jibber, like always.
The Lord.
But like, but now it's just like, now jibbing's the thing again. And it's like, oh, okay, sick. That's cool.
And then Kate Edwards is just like the Lord of jibbing and doing that type of stuff. Like,
I was just watching some of his stuff actually. Yeah.
Yeah. You just put some stuff
No.
up from a skate park and it's just like, dude, that's not chipping anymore. But like, yeah, his skill is so wild.
Yeah, yeah, it's so impressive. It's cool. Like that's it. Like these, you can do so much on these bikes now. Yeah, it's sick. Really good,
Um,
including pedaling.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wild concept. Talking about pedaling, how was the T-type Eagle stuff for you? So we
Mm,
I think it's basically like a month. Oh, it's only 2 weeks ago. It feels like a month. We had a couple of guys here doing Everest for
nice.
charity, and the one here in Adelaide, it rained like all night.
I saw the videos. Yeah.
They're not all
On
out yet.
stories. Sorry, on Instagram.
Yeah,
I saw the stories. And he was showing me. I was like, holy shit, these
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty shit.
Yeah.
By the end of it, his bike was brown. Like he has a mega tower, like in that silver.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell. Like everything was caked on. But that rear
Wow.
mech and rear derailleur never had an issue. Like that whole
Yeah.
drivetrain never had an issue. Was it kind of the same for you?
Yeah. Like, yeah. It's, it's still never skipped a beat, and like I've still got the same chain on as well. And, like, I've had since December, and like I don't know, like it's still like it's still fine. It's probably not a 0.5 yet, and yeah, it's incredible stuff. Like it blows my mind that like the harder you pedal, the smoother it shifts. Like that's just pretty bonkers. And yeah, it's just so solid. Initially, it was like the mech was just like, you're like, wow, this thing's huge. Like, where's this going to go? Like,
Yeah.
I remember saying that to Chris as well. But then, like, it just looks like it's weird now to see a bike. I know you get so used to seeing T-type now, but you
Yeah.
see like another trailer, and you're like, oh, that's cute. It's just like, and then like you go, oh, it's really really good. I guess it's yeah,
Yeah.
my review.
Did you ever
Um,
see like 11-speed cassettes still kicking around, like Eagle 11-speed cassettes?
well, on my gravel bike, I've got the Explore cassette, which is like 1042.
Yeah. And you're like,
Um, yeah,
that was
and
big.
that was big. Yeah, you put that with a 32 tooth chainring, and like, you know, you get what you're given, don't you? And that's
Yeah.
it. You're either getting up the hill or you're not, and but you would always. So yeah, spoiled. You're just so spoiled. It's brilliant.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, the double Everest, you did the 1,000,000 feet, and then you're like, oh,
Mm.
I've got something else I want to do now. So you did the double Everest. What
Mm.
was what was that experience like? Like getting to the Everest, the first one, and then you tick over and you're like, oh, I've got to do another one now.
Um. Yeah. That. Gosh. I think Johnny. I don't. Yeah. You said you've seen the video. Like Johnny did a really
Yeah.
good job of like.
I've watched that video too many times. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, it's like Johnny did such a good job of like capturing that, and I think there's a part. It's funny because I watched that back in retrospect, and like
Mm.
I no longer know what are my memories of the event and what I've watched, because
Yeah.
it's all just such a blur. It's so weird that there's so much I can't remember.
Mm.
But I do remember ticking over the first Everest, um, and it was like, and it was the first day in the light still, and and I felt like really good. I was like, oh, I'm over halfway. It's it's all downhill from here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember the next lap after the Everest, the one that I'd reached 10,000, but
Mm.
I had like a huge group of people, like all my friends after they finished work and before it was getting dark came, and it was just like, it was so good. And we all rode together, and the lap just went just like
Yeah.
that. And it's like a 1,000 meter elevation a lap. and it was such good vibes. And that's one of the only descents that I do remember is like riding down with everyone on that
sick.
one, and getting to the bottom, and like, you know, there'd be couples of friends and things with like food, and like, and we just, yeah, it was just such a good vibe. And then and then the worst of it was like everyone's like, cool, okay, see you in a bit, off home, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm like, sick. I'm like, yeah, just clocked over 10,000 vert in, and I'm just like setting in for my second night. It's like, it was just like, and it's weird because it wasn't necessarily the riding or feeling tired. It was just like it just felt oddly deflating when it's like almost like you succeeded to that point, and then it's like, and then the second night was the hardest thing, to just keep on riding as it got dark, and you know, everyone had disappeared apart from like my good friend Jamie, who he's on the video. He did the night shift with me.
Yeah,
second night, and Annie as well. Like those guys just kept plugging, and yeah, we got through that. That felt like a long time. That night. And that's a night that I fell asleep on the bike, and like I kind of like crashed going uphill, and I can't remember crashing until I was off the track. So I must have nodded off it somehow or somewhere, you know. So yeah, that was tough, and what's it called, circadian rhythm, I think. So as well as being completely cooked from doing 10,000 vert, like it gets dark, so your body's just like, right, you
go to sleep.
Really need to sleep now. And trying to push through that, like it makes you feel sick, like horrendously sick, like physically sick, and it's really odd. It was like trying to tell yourself to do everything that your body's insisting you don't, and go against everything your mind's telling you not to do, and that's incredibly difficult at that point, you know, when you're already that deep into it, and all you want to do is sleep. And I did try and like close my eyes for 10-15 minutes, like, a couple of times, and I couldn't differentiate between thinking and dreaming. Like so I don't even think I honestly don't even think that I'm not sure. Like I think the second time I might have closed my eyes for 5 minutes, but I remember just being laid there. Just, you can't rest when you've got so much to still to go. Like, and your mind's just in this like this buzz of like the only thing you can focus on is what you need to do still, and like the numbers. But resting and relaxing is just impossible. So, but yeah, got there eventually.
Did you find like when it got to daytime, your body kind of clicked into gear again?
Yeah,
like a really weird thing. Yeah,
like out of nowhere, it's just like the sun was rising, and it's like, oh shit, here we go. Like, it's all good again. Really odd. And that was when that first lap in the morning though was a bit freaky. Like, I was just like in another world in my head, like really spaced out. But then, like as the day progressed, like everything was okay. So yeah.
It's I remember like, because I was watching this guy, my mate Cam, he was doing it, and I slept like 2 or 3 hours. I felt bad for sleeping because I just slept in my car, and I'm like, I'll sleep. I'll go into bed at 11, woke up at 3 type of thing. Barely slept. And then he's like pushing in the rain by himself for like 3 hours or whatever. And then as soon as the sun came up, it was like he just got this boost, and it was just like game on. And it's just a quirky little thing to watch.
Isn't it funny? It's really interesting how that works. But yeah, I wonder whether you could like hack that somehow if you was practicing for something else, or training for something else, and kind of almost make yourself nocturnal so you get the best of both worlds. I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I wonder if you could do that.
Just turn into this night human.
Yeah. But no, it's good.
What was I know you might not know as much, but what was the filming and production like for that? Like, what was the turnaround for the video? Just out of interest.
Oh, it was, what was it? February 26th is when I did it.
Okay.
And the it's like 2 or 3 months of like hard work. Johnny, who filmed it, was actually living with us as well. So every morning you get up and like wander into the living room and he's just hard at work, like all day, every day. Like, it's wild, like how much effort he put into that. It's really incredible, really incredible. I'm so thankful because it's like there now,
Yeah. It makes me feel better because I felt bad for being like 2 weeks, 2 weeks later. So I'm okay with that. And
yeah, no, it's it blows my mind how long it takes. Like, it in a good way. It's really admirable. That, like, the effort that goes into something like that, and not to mention those guys had to like stay up as well and like document it all, for better or worse. Yeah, it's funny because Johnny, like, he's professional. He used to work for Cup Media and he's filmed lots of stuff. And I think he said that after I had to do 17 laps of this hill, and he's like, after the fact, he's like, man, I thought you were cooked at 3. He's like, I didn't think you were going to do it. And he was already like trying to figure out what to do, because I got well too excited and did the first 3 laps like way too fast, like twice the speed I should have done, because I was just like so keen for it, but yeah, he did a really good job.
Did you find some of like your Sherpas and stuff might come out fresh and set the pace a little bit fast?
It's that for the first few laps, it was just Annie and I. And she was on an e-bike and just like going with me, kind of thing. And it was just like, it was me pacing myself, but just way too keen to get into it. So it's all on my head. Yeah. And then the last lap, I still had some in the tank. So I did add a little race at the top with my friends who were with me.
Yeah.
Which is really good fun. But then also it spikes that curiosity. It's like, oh well, if I still had some left in the tank, like how much further could I have gone? But then I'm not ready quite yet to harbour those curiosities.
No,
because that could lead to something. We'll see. But yeah, and then like, yeah, I've only. It took a few months to recover from that one as well. So
yeah, it would have.
Yeah, nice to just chill out for a little bit.
Yeah. What do you kind of do afterwards? Like, you just go back to work, live the normal life, like, or is it?
Yeah. Well, I finished that ride on Monday evening at like 7 or 8, and then I was back at work on the Wednesday. Chilled out for the Tuesday, and then rode into work on the Wednesday. But then I could only work like 3 or 4 of those days, and then the next week I was off work for about a month after that.
Right.
Just I couldn't even stand up. Like I was stretching the weekend after, and I overstretched. I didn't realise that was really something you could do, but I didn't stretch properly afterwards. I don't think I stretched at all afterwards. I was so cooked. All I did is rest, and then I went to work and kind of like was hobbling about a bit with sore legs, and then I stretched the weekend after that, and like I woke up the day after stretching and couldn't even walk. Like I couldn't stand up properly, and like
Yeah, wow.
I couldn't walk. I was like, shuffling on all fours. Like, it was horrible. I
That's
was like, oh
so
no,
bad.
I've done myself some serious damage. And then for a while, I couldn't feel. I gave myself nerve damage on my left leg, and I couldn't feel my leg from like my knee down. It was still completely numb,
That's
which
wild.
is such an odd sensation. Like, luckily miraculously that's all good now. But that
Mm.
took a long time to get good, and lots of stretching and lots of work by the physio. Like, like remarkable physio here. It's just been incredible. Like, Peter's just been having me out big time. So yeah, a lot of that, and then all good now.
Back on the bike.
So yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. I think I only had like 2 weeks off the bike. I was still pedaling it. I found it easier to pedal than walk. So
Your body's just adapted to that. Like
I think
that's
so.
yeah.
Oh, I've got no posture anyway when I walk. I don't know what to do with my arms. You spend so long on a bike. um, but yeah, I remember like I was biking to physio, and like bike to physio, jump off a bike, and then like hobble in. It was like
Yeah.
it looked like I was taking a piss a bit, but it was like that. like really, it really hurts.
Yeah. Oh,
um,
that's too good.
no.
Just gone in to get your disability check or something, and
Yeah,
you pull your walker out of the car and you're fine, and then hobble in.
that's it. Yeah, just biking past work on the way to physio, just like whilst I'm in sick. It's just like, yeah.
Oh shit.
That's all good fun.
And you were working in a shop still, or like?
Um, yeah, I was working at Vertigo. I've worked at
Oh,
Vertigo Bikes for the past 6 years.
yeah.
But yeah, I just I finished at Vertigo Bikes last May at the end of the
Okay.
season.
Yeah.
So yeah, just setting up my own thing now.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah.
see how that goes.
Your own
Um,
shop or like your own servicing or?
yeah, my own. Gonna just specialize in wheel building.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
more than anything. So gonna have I'll have a workshop as such.
Yeah.
And then but I'll be mainly building wheels. So which is my favorite thing to do. Like, most people hate it. I just love it. I
I
love
reckon
it.
it
Like, it's
is
just
the best thing ever.
it's just such a nice, like, almost therapeutic process,
Yeah.
if it goes well, of course. But yeah, I've got a wheel jig arriving today that I bought from Germany. That's just like way too much money. No one should ever spend that much money on a tool, but it just looked really nice. So I'm excited to see that. And that was my commitment. That was like, if I'm going to spend this much on a wheel jig,
Yeah.
then it's going to have to happen. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Is that one of
Hopefully it all works
the
out.
like the ones that holds the hub and the rim and everything on the
It's
horizontal?
it's called, they're called like P&K Lie or something. They've got like big analog dials that measure like 0.25 of a
Yeah, sick.
mil, and like, it's like anodized green with like all brass fittings. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's like a piece of art. Like,
Yeah.
I probably won't even dare use it, just in case I damage it.
I saw like the Abbey tools. They just built out wheel built
I
like
saw
the
that.
Truing stand as well. That looks wild with you can
Yeah,
get the computer set up on there.
yeah, that's bonkers. Like, yeah, I loved Santa Cruz are doing this Factory Friday thing at the minute on Instagram, and they just did one in the wheel shop, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, these are like goals. I was like, this is so cool. Again, with like a digital gauges and stuff, it's like, wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So I don't know, maybe one day.
When you say you're building wheels and stuff as well, does that mean you're selecting like spokes and gauges for suit people's riding? Are you going down to that level or? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So essentially what it's going to be is like a custom wheel builder online, so I'll have all the options. So like hubs, spokes, rims. I'll even, if a customer wants like a 2-cross instead of a 3-cross, or like a front radial, do something like that. different width spokes, different gauge spokes, different nipples, everything. So I want to, yeah. If anyone wants it, like hopefully I'll be able to do it. Like for example, last year I built Remy Morton. I built him a rear wheel with like plain gauge 2mm spokes on like a 4-cross lacing pattern on like a 24-inch rim. It was wild. It's like
it looks like one of those like Cholo Land Cruiser, low rider like cruiser things.
yeah, yeah. It's wild. And I just love doing stuff like that, like something different. And if you want like big birdie wheels, like or something super light, it'd just be nice just to offer that like customization for people. And who knows? We'll see what happens.
Have you played around with the bird spokes?
Not yet. I really want to get some. That's on my list of like parts. Is those spokes look really interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what they're capable of as well. Because you see them in like cross country application all the time, but they reckon that they can do everything.
I know a friend of mine's riding them in America somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but he's got them on like a stumpy. So
really,
yeah, they're not like the bird wheels as well, and he's pretty heinous on his stuff. So from what I've heard,
interesting.
Like, they're good.
Gosh, I need to get some and have a go for sure. Keen on all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's good. Like I know there's so many people that say they're wheel builders, and I'm not. Like I'm a wheel assembler. Like I'll put together some stuff, but it's a whole different ball game when you get to selecting spokes, selecting rims, selecting hubs, doing all that to suit a riding style is a whole different ball game.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I've never really thought of there being like a differentiation, different. What's the word? A difference kind of thing. But like, like I'd love to even offer like bearing options as well, like ceramic bearings, normal bearings, like stuff like that, like everything. But we'll see how it goes.
I remember, I put ceramic hybrids in a set of 350s once, and I was just like, this is way more, like, it's better than upgrading to 240s. Like, you get all the reliability of the 350, and now it's just as fast.
Yeah, isn't it interesting? Yeah. I'll be keen to experiment with a lot of this stuff.
I love it.
See what we can go.
Hopefully we'll have Mick Williams' DT Star Ratchet thing that he's doing where it can freewheel both ways and stuff at some point as well.
Sick. Mick's in town here as well.
I think he's back in Melbourne at the moment, but he'll be back in. I think he's doing like summers or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Nice. No, it's cool to see what he's up to and seeing his bikes around town. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So and speak to him.
All the pro teams and stuff are down there now as well, like every summer by the looks of it. So
it's wild. It's pretty ridiculous, like the amount of people who like come down to Queenstown on their off season now, but you can kind of understand why.
100%.
It's a pretty special place, that's for sure.
Might start wrapping things up a little bit here. There's kind of 3 questions I like to ask everyone. I guess, what advice would you have for someone that wants to get into the longer distance riding or start taking on these challenges that aren't challenges type thing?
Interesting. Gosh, I don't know if I'm the best person for advice because I kind of do everything on a whim. But maybe I'm the best person to give advice in this sense then. But like, start small, set goals. Start small, set goals, and eat well. That's something I've learned.
What, during the thing or beforehand or?
yeah, generally, um, yeah, drawing for sure. But I think I think you can't achieve goals unless you set them. And I think
Yeah.
just finding even like arbitrary numbers, try
Mm.
and see what your best day is, and see if you can better it. And then if you can do that 2 days in a row, and then if you can do that, try it for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, set attainable goals. I think is probably the best thing,
Mm.
and eat well.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's eating well look like to you?
um, enough, like eat enough for me. Like is usually the thing. Um,
Yeah, right.
gosh, yeah. I don't know. Um, I hate to be the cliche of the person who tells you that they're on a plant-based diet, but I'm on a plant-based diet. I don't want to use the
I
V
was
word.
I was plant based for I have been plant based for a long time.
Yeah,
I feel like my change back to eating meat semi regularly is just like it wasn't a conscious decision. So sometimes I feel like it might be my body telling me it needed something from that. But
yeah, yeah.
I find like there
It's
are so many cyclists and there's so many endurance cyclists that are on that diet,
mm, yeah,
not consciously. Like
yeah.
it
Interesting.
just works. So
Yeah,
I haven't read any science or anything into it. I'm not claiming it's the best or whatever, but I just found
yeah,
it seems to be very common
mm,
within our sport. Like,
yeah. That's it. And do you know what? Like, I've never been to. I'm such an amateur. I've never been to a nutritionist or anything, and there probably is stuff that I probably should have, but it worked. It's worked for me for the past few years, and like, but you just got to eat a lot more,
yeah,
But and it might not work for everyone, you're saying there, and gosh, there's I think just eating well and
mm,
eating lots, um, and you can certainly you become quite in tune and aware of what you need to eat. Um,
mm.
so, but yeah,
Yeah, like being a
yeah,
vegetarian that eats deep fried potato every single day for every meal, it's not going to be healthy for you. Like,
no, no,
you know what I mean?
no, certainly not. I remember during the 2 million feet in 200 days, I would go to work for a head of broccoli and turn upside down in the pan in the staff kitchen and just boil it for like 5 minutes whilst getting out my stuff, and then just eat it, putting a bit of salt on it. It was like
Yeah,
horrendous. Like it didn't taste very good, but um, you oddly it sort you out. And then you have a packet of Oreos afterwards, and you feel fine. You feel
yeah,
like kind
yeah, balancing it
of
all out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
But yeah,
Oreos being vegan was like the best discovery ever when I was full plant based. Yeah, that's
mind
wild.
blowing, isn't it?
Yeah,
That, yeah, yeah. Not good for you.
no, no,
But if you need the sugar,
it's there. Um,
yeah, yeah.
is there anything you would have done differently up until now, just in like writing or career wise or anything, or you don't have any regrets or anything like that?
No,
No,
you can't have any regrets. No, I'm
exactly.
so stoked. Like, for for me, I just imagining like myself as like a 13, 14-year-old kid doing paper rounds and then blowing all my paper money on mountain bike magazines.
Yeah,
Um, to say that I'm here now, living in Queenstown, still playing with bikes, still riding bikes. Holy shit, that's pretty cool. Like,
it
yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah. I'm quite proud of my older self for that, I guess. Mm.
yeah. You have these moments sometimes where you got to check yourself and be like, oh,
Yeah,
if I was a kid looking at me now, I'd be pretty stoked. Like,
yeah, that's it. Totally that. And the same thing. The other day, I had that moment where looking for old pictures on that, I found a pink bike trash folder I never knew existed, and there's pictures of me where I met Steve Pete in 2009, and I'm just like, and I remember thinking, fuck, one day I'm going to own a Santa Cruz. Like that's the ultimate, because all my
yeah,
bikes have been like secondhand, like trades up until then. pretty much. And I was like I've got a picture of me looking a bit gormless of Steve Peter. I'm like, one day I'm going to own a Santa Cruz. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. I looked at that picture. I was like, wow, I remember how that felt.
Yeah.
And I was pretty stoked. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
It's weird. Yeah. Like you have these days, I think everyone has, where you're just like over it and don't think you're enough, or you've progressed enough for your age and as far as society's goals or levels are.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I had a beer with Sam Hill like 4 months ago. Like, if I was 10 years old, I would.
That'd have blown your mind.
Yeah, like it's completely wild.
Yeah, so. Yeah. That's Oh man, it's incredible, isn't it? Like, it's so And I got this. It reminds me then of this this quote I saw the other day, which is like, it's do what you can with what you have, nothing more is needed.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, man, that's everything, isn't it? Really, like, and it's quite amazing that what you can do with what you have, if you're fortunate enough, you know. But yeah, 100%. So wouldn't change anything.
Last question I have is kind of the hardest for a lot of people for some reason, but let's say you're deep into that double Everest, or you're deep into something and you're feeling a bit demotivated. Do you have any music or anything that kind of gets you motivated and out of a hole? Or if you don't listen to music that much, is there something that you kind of use to get motivated?
Oh man, gosh, don't get me started on music. I've lots. I've got this one playlist at the minute called Audio Doping.
Sick. I love that too.
And it's like, I think it is like audio doping. It's like it can. I'm sure it can give you like 40 extra watts just listening to this playlist I made.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. For sure, like music is the motivator for me sometimes, and just some really, really heavy shit on there.
Good.
Yeah, that's often the main thing, you know. Gosh, at the minute it's a band called Pigs.
How good are they?
Do you like them?
Yes.
Holy shit! I watched the KEXP live set of theirs, and they're from Northern England, and they're so good. Holy, like stoner rock, like heavy stoner rock.
It's like Motorhead, like that kind of. Yeah,
he sounds like Lemmy, like like his grunge, like his growl, like but like I just they've just released an album. Oh, I forgot what it's called. It's got like a moon on the front, something to do with Luna, and that is just unbelievable. And like, God, that can dig you out of a big, grungy, heavy hole for sure. Like, heavy, like stuff like that. But then tomorrow I can be listening to Lizzo. Just love it all. But like, right now it's Pigs times 7.
Yeah. I think I actually heard of them from, might have been Casimir or might have actually been Quinny on their podcast. They mentioned it.
Oh, really?
Or maybe Smurthwaite when he was still there. But yeah. And then I put it on and I was like, this is the best.
It's so sick. Oh, there's this live set that they do, just blows you away. Like the lead singer's in an Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin vest.
Sick.
Like 316. And like the drummer's got like a Cocteau Twins t-shirt on. And like the bass guitarist is in a full one-piece like burgundy Adidas tracksuit. And like they're just like the biggest misfits, like kind of thing. All with those sick. orange speakers, like they just blow your head off, and they're so passionate. It's amazing. I sent one of them to Henry actually last week. So maybe he's into them as well. Hopefully,
I think so.
But yeah, music, like there's no such thing as a bad genre. There's just bad music in each genre. That's honestly what I think. Yeah. And if somebody says, "Oh, I'm not into black metal," it's because the only black metal you listen to probably isn't that good, or just doesn't work.
Cannibal Corpse and
Gorgoroth or anything like that, just some weird shit. The
most extreme of the extreme. Like
there's some that's another tangent. Like Norwegian black metal scene. That's
dude, I was just about to say that. Yeah, they
my
are
God,
a whole different level.
that's so fascinating. How important that is, music, and how environments create that music. But that goes for like riding bikes as well. Like there's music for every environment on a bike, and probably not like trap rap on edits and reels. Not fussed about that. But
Leave me alone,
but,
man.
Oh, maybe that's your thing. Like, yeah,
No.
you do you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fascinating. Like, yeah, if you don't see the sun for months at a time, you live in a wet, sodding valley, like it's freezing cold and miserable. Like that's where black metal comes from. Like,
Yeah.
it's like Caius and Queens of the Stone Age comes from Death Valley, and like there's this incredible documentary about how their environment and like that lack of reverb or like acoustics creates that sound, and that's where like that kind of noise derives from. And like it's so interesting, it's fascinating.
And you see like Slipknot, Korn, and all those crew just come from these shitty spots, and they're just so angry at the world, and that's like
like
it's formed
totally.
It's wild.
Totally, like Iowa and places like that, Detroit and things, and like once big industrialized places that are just like
ghost towns now.
That's it. On that note, I'll tell you something really cool. I rented a bike out last year to this guy, and we do like a little rental form. You go hometown address kind of thing, and he put Iowa, United States, and I was like, oh, cool, I know a band from there. And he's like, it's not Slipknot, is it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, Corey Taylor's like my boy's dad, and like around his house all the time. I'm like, no way.
That's wild.
He was like, yeah, like I didn't know what his band was. He just got all these funny masks and guitars around. I was like, show me shit, show me pictures, and I was like, that's crazy. But anyway, that's by the by.
That's so good. Yeah.
I
could imagine him just being in like an F-150 or some shit and just being so low key and not giving
just being totally suburban dad.
100%.
Yeah.
Easy, man. Well,
anyway,
I think we could do another whole podcast on music.
Oh, I'll be keen. I'll send you that audio to open playlist, see what you think. And if you've got any suggestions, always keen.
I'll try. It's mainly trap at the moment, so
Oh dear.
No, I've been listening.
That's all good fun.
What did I find the other day? Appalachian folk music. So like that real like twangy country. Yeah. It's like working class country. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting.
We have to swap some songs.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
What do you think?
100%.
Amazing.
Easy, man. Well, I better let you get to the rest of your day. Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Likewise. Thank you so much, Darren. It's been good.
Thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And sorry for the mess around. Should be.
Oh, that's all good. Time zones, they're pain in the ass.
Yeah. Easy, dude. Well, take it easy and we'll speak soon.
Cool. Cheers, Darren.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Bye.
Oh, bye.